Rick, we're ready?
Hey, Sean, how are you?
Okay, he's going live.
Are we ready?
Listen to what he's going to count it down.
Thank you. Right. Good evening, everyone. This is a regular conference meeting of the Council of the Township of Montclair. Notice of this meeting has been provided to the Montclair Times, the Herald News, and the Star Ledger. Notice has also been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Mayor Jackson.
Present.
Deputy Mayor McMahon.
Here.
Councilor Baskerville.
Present.
Councilor Hurlock.
Present.
Councilor Russo.
Present.
Councilor Schlager.
Here.
Councilor Spiller.
Present. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
States
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, just going to just do the minutes quickly. We have the minutes of February 18th, 2020, and I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We also have, thank you. We also have some proclamations this evening. One honoring Cheryl K. Young, and the other recognizing April 1st, 2020 as National Census Day. And I will move both of those.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're now going to open up the meeting to public comment. The council will hear from individuals who are calling in, and you will be staged in by our staff here, by Mr. Fan. And we will ask that you hold your comments to 3 minutes, and you'll be getting a high sign of some kind when you're getting at the 2-minute and 30-second mark. So, Mr. Fan, the first caller.
First caller ending with phone number 57.
The caller ending with...
Yes, hi.
Yes, go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead, you can speak.
Oh, hi. This is Chef Abraham Dickinson. My question is, my response is there any way moving forward that we could take nutrition as a priority here in the township and through the school district? The reason I'm bringing this up, we see that this coronavirus seems to be attracted to people who have food-related illnesses such as hypertension, diabetes, and obesity. And at the end of the day, we see that our healthcare system is taking another hit due to the coronavirus. I know prior to this current administration, the previous administration worked very hard in making sure that we were on the right path. Even our school district, before this current board, we were moving in the right direction. Me and several other parents, we helped lead that fight. It seems as though that now we have sodas back in our schools. We have grease trucks outside of our school district, which not only takes away from the money that could be made in our school district, but also takes money away from local businesses who could be doing a little bit better had they been able to recoup some of that money. So I'm hoping when we get through this current crisis that we put back a focus on nutrition in our schools. Let's get these diet sodas out of our schools. We were moving in the right directions. There is no need why we cannot at least take Bullock School and start cooking from scratch for several other schools. There are too many smart people that live in this township for us to be moving backwards. I just want to reiterate, is there any way we can get back on track through our school nutritional program instead of having a current administration that blatantly violates our current district policy. People work very hard to make sure that even parents were bringing in the most appropriate food during parties. And now we have a current administration that is ignoring the current policy of artificial flavoring and not having sodas of any kind in our district. It doesn't necessarily matter what is okay for the state. Montclair, we have set a standard that our kids would not be exposed to that during learning time, and that is not happening.
I thank you, Mr. Dickerson, and thank you for all the work that you're doing during this crisis. I've seen and heard about your great work. We all appreciate it. In terms of the policy of the board, we'll certainly pass on your comments and sentiments. I think they're well-founded, and we'll pass that on to the board. Next caller.
Next caller ending with phone number 20.
Hello, this is Deborah Ellis. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. This is Deborah Ellis. First of all, I want to thank the mayor and the council for taking such proactive measures about the coronavirus emergency and very quickly issuing a state of emergency. I wrote on March 15th to all of you and have heard only from my ward representative Robin Schlager and from Robert Russo with the request to suspend the operation of leaf blowers during the state of emergency. As you know, leaf blowers are regulated right now under our noise ordinance, and normally they would be permitted at this time. However, because of all the states of emergencies, we are all confined to our homes, as we should be. People are trying to work from their homes. Many people in our town are educators and literally are teaching hundreds of people online, and our children are trying to learn in their homes. And landscapers, even today, are coming 4 at a time in logs with all this noise, this huge noise, and it's making it impossible for people to do the work and do the learning they need to do. Additionally, the health effects of leaf blowers are well documented, the bad health effects, and we are blowing more particulate matter and pollution around in our town when we need to be safeguarding everyone's health. So I wanted to ask you again to consider, you have the power legally, I believe, under the noise ordinance to prohibit leaf blowers during the state of emergency, and I would ask you to do that to protect and enhance the well-being of our residents.
Mr. Stafford.
Good evening, Ms. Ellis, and thank you for the question. This is Timothy Stafford. We exchanged emails earlier today. As I said in that email, and I'll go into some detail for those folks watching or listening who didn't have the benefit of seeing my email, our governor's executive order number 107 specifically talks about and addresses businesses that have employees that cannot perform their functions via telework or work from home. Governor Murphy used examples in his executive order of those types of employees and included construction workers, utility workers, and other similarly situated workers. And the governor used the phrase including but not limited to. Given that landscapers perform their work outside and not in a brick and mortar premises, and given that paragraph 11 of the governor's executive order includes those types of similarly situated workers, and given the including but not limited to language, it is clear that the governor's executive order, does not apply to landscapers. Additionally, though I appreciate your comments, the governor issued a further executive order number 108 that applies particularly to counties and municipalities and exclusively prohibits counties or municipalities such as Montclair taking actions inconsistent with his executive order. So it would be illegal for the township to do what you're asking because it would go contrary to Executive Order number 107. It's not that we don't take your issue. I don't take your issue seriously. I appreciate your comments. However, to do so at this time would violate the governor's executive order.
Thank you. Next caller, Mr. Fan.
Next caller ending with phone number 17.
Council, this is Ron Simoncini calling. I represent the Montclair Property Owners Association. It's a recently formed group, and it's totally our bad. We had no members who were aware of the dialogue on rent control, as amazing as that seems. It happens to be true. And in reviewing the media coverage of the last meeting, some of our folks got concerned about what they saw and felt as though there was a different story to tell about rent control. So we put together a small property owners group. Some of the property owners that we are working with have had property in Montclair for nearly 60 years. So these are very long-time owners, established people, keep their properties up very well. And one of the things I wanted to point out was, if I had a little bit of time, I could put together rent rolls for you to demonstrate that most of the property owners in Montclair have very modest annual increases. And part of the dialogue that I see that you've had is in response to some owners who have taken advantage and who've had what we could only deem as unconscionable increases. And so what we'd like to do, if we could, I recognize that you've had a first reading. I see that it was on a previous agenda, and I appreciate those of you who are able to get back to me today. I wrote an email today explaining that I would be calling and what my interest in this issue is. We'd very much like an opportunity to make a presentation. We would rather that not happen at the second reading. A second reading is a very difficult time, particularly for council members who've already considered what their vote might be, to accept amendment proposals without having had a chance to truly consider them. So we would like a forum at some point, and whatever form that takes, whether it's simply writing letters, which I know we can do, but better yet, I believe that it would be advantageous to everybody to hear what some of the impacts of what you propose would be. In particular, the 10% cap on vacancy decontrols doesn't serve anyone's interests in Montclair right now. It's not an effective means of providing affordable housing. And we've got studies that demonstrate that, and we'd like to make an alternative proposal, in particular for that ordinance. Most of the property owners that are members of my group are people who live in rent-controlled towns. We recognize that from a stability point of view, there is often a reason to have rent control in some places. We don't happen to believe Montclair is one of those places. However, if at the end of the day rent control does pass in Montclair, we think it should be informed by some of the things that we would like an opportunity to discuss in some formal setting. So I know all of you interested in getting responses and seeing if we can put something together that allows us to provide you with our experience in other places and our perspective on the ordinance that you've passed on first reading. Again, it's Ron Simoncini, Montclair Property Owners Association, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Simoncini. I will, I think if individual members of the council or groups of council members want to sit with, that's fine. But in terms of a separate meeting, I don't think that's appropriate. But if individual members want to sit with them, with the Montclair Property Owners Association, that's fine.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is Councilman Sean Spiller. Thank you for the call in today and your comments. Certainly, as the mayor is noting, I would concur. I don't think a separate and apart meeting would be appropriate. We have had discussions. We've had tenants at our meetings for the better part of a year or something now. So I think this issue has been discussed and debated and out in the public forum for quite some time. But I will note, certainly always, and I know I certainly don't speak for my colleagues, but I'm pretty aware of everyone here is always appreciative of any information or any comments or suggestions that you would have. If you send this over to us, so we have those as soon as possible, so we can always consider and review any information that we receive. Certainly in this time, there may be opportunities for some phone calls or video chats or some other pieces to get a perspective and a flavor to whatever it is that you send. But I would only say the sooner you could send any information to us, email is great, and all that information that you're talking about, we'd be happy to receive, I'm sure, and I think would duly do our due diligence and review it. But certainly we have a process that's proceeding, and a separate meeting I think would be a challenge as well, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Fan, next caller.
Next caller, ending with phone number 15.
Caller, phone number ending in 15. Oh, is that correct? Okay.
Caller ending with phone number with 15.
Whomever has a number ending in 15, you're up. All right, let's go on to the next one.
You may have lost him.
Next caller, ending phone number with 61.
Hello?
Yep, you are on,
Can you
ma'am.
hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Ann Lapel, and I've been a resident of Montclair for over 40 years. I'm currently the chair of the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee, and I want to recommend a second reading of the ordinance that will provide rent protection. We are especially interested in rent protection for the people in our township who are older and who are on fixed income. 32% of the renters in Montclair are over the age of 55. The township has already dedicated itself as an age-friendly community. For people on fixed income, age friendliness means housing security, and rent protection is one of the keystones of that security. I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
Go ahead, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay. Anyhow, I know that there will be a second reading of this ordinance that has been proposed in April, and we believe that the seniors of Montclair will benefit from the provisions that I have read in that ordinance. I also would like to recommend to the council that in some deliberation process, either after the fact or in the current process, some recognition of the role of the landlords is taken up, because we would like
The conference has been locked.
reprisals against seniors, and some idea of incentivizing landlords who provide long-term leases to seniors would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Ann. Mr. Fan, next caller.
Next caller, ending phone number at 55.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the Hub
Go ahead.
Claire.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so this is Ahava, president of the tenants organization of Montclair. On the call, for the entire call, first I'd like to wish you all well. Hope that everyone's staying strong and positive, as I am sure you are. I trust in that. And to thank you for hosting this call and the upcoming meetings via teleconference so that we can all participate. Knowing that we do have the second reading and expected final approval, I do want to add that expected final approval of our rent control ordinance that is so much needed for Montclair. I just want to make sure that we make it very clear we are continuing to move forward so we can have a final approval for this rent control ordinance. It needs to be in place. This is going to affect our residents for the next 30, 40, 50, and 60 years. So I'm hoping that you still have a very serious approach to finalizing our rent control ordinance, which I don't know that I should be giving too much opinion on what I read. However, it is a workable ordinance, and Montclair has never seen this before. And the residents here are looking forward to it. They deserve it. The 42% plus of renters, and as Ann stated, out of that 42 plus percentage of renters in Montclair, 32% or more are seniors. We're all in full support of this ordinance being passed as quickly as possible, being as though it's been written and done so well to this point, to give more security and peace of mind, especially during this time, especially now during this time, more security and peace of mind to those who are still very unsure. I get messages on a regular basis of uncertainty. I'm having to keep telling people with absolute certainty. So we need to get this locked in and secured in and established, and we're not waiting for what the federal government's doing, what the state's doing. Montclair has the power to take care of this very quickly and easily because everything's been laid out. For this second reading that we expect on April 7th, and we'll be very glad again to be on that call, we hope to see a final approval of that. We've been working not just for the past year. My involvement in the tennis organization of Montclair in establishing and organizing the group has been a minimum year. So anyone that's on the call or in the meeting and they're just now discovering this, we've not been hiding. We've been out in public since the April 11th forum that Mr. Scott put together, since I stood up at that forum with others who stood up at that forum. All the names I have written down. I'm not going to say them on the call because they'll all be announced in a timeline of historic markers for this. We've been working on this since April of last year, but then it's something that, again, was supposed to happen in Montclair a long time ago. Oh, so we won't backtrack too far. However, yeah, it's been steady. So anyone that's like, oh, we just found out, oh, we just got this. No, we've been doing this for quite some time. Every month since April of 2019, the Tennis Organization of Montclair has been meeting. And we've all been working together for the greater good on this. So I'd like to end this just by saying, again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If I just covered who I would be seeing if I was in a visual in front of me at the podium, as I say thank you to all of you as a part of the Council of Montclair for taking care of this very important matter for our community.
Thank you very much. Yes, Councilor Spiller.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Spiller here. Thank you for your comments. I certainly couldn't agree with them more. I certainly think this is an issue that so many have been working on for so long. It is important. We have a process. We have been engaged in that process. I know myself and many others have been looking into this, looking and learning about the ins and the outs to make sure that we put something forward that absolutely addressed all the concerns of all involved and came up with something that would be workable here in Montclair, that was unique and specific to Montclair, but at the primary core of it, preserve the ability of so many in our population to not fear from the inability to cover their rent, to pay their bills as such because of unprecedented and unwarranted rent increases. So I'm very proud of the fact that we were able to move this forward and introduce this. I'm thankful to my colleagues for being supportive. I think we absolutely will continue to listen to anyone who's got an opinion to share with us on the matter, but I absolutely foresee and will be advocating for us moving forward on this as planned to make sure that we get the relief that residents need and have waited too long for. So I look forward to it. Echo your comments, and I thank you for your work over the year as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller, Mr. Fan.
Next caller, ending phone number 15. some technical difficulties. Give me 1 second.
Councilor Schlegel just texted to say the sound is cut off.
Bill just said that, yeah. I got the same thing from Councilor Hurlock, so it's a universal problem.
It's not break, it's
not
Tony.
Rick, that's Tony.
I should probably.
Yep. Would you like me to make?
For those of you watching on TV, we're just experiencing a technical difficulty that our Chief Information Officer is working to fix as quickly as possible, so just bear with
This
us.
service is provided by freeconferencecall.com. There are 6 participants in the conference. The recording has started. The conference has been locked.
I don't know. Yes, we can all hear you.
Sounds like we're back on.
How about the
All right. Caller ending with phone number 15.
That's me.
You're on the way now, ma'am.
Okay.
Just experiencing a technical difficulty that our Chief Information Officer is working to fix as quickly as possible.
This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com. There are participants in the conference. The recording has started. The conference.
Caller ending with 15. You need to mute your TV or your computer. First time on time. Caller ending with 15. You're on speaker right now. Hello, ma'am?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm caller? Okay. Am I speaking to the council?
Yes.
You need to mute your
Okay,
TV,
this is
though,
coming up
please.
from the tenants organization. Hello, all of us. We're making it. We're making it.
Hold on 1 second, ma'am. You need to please mute your
All right.
TV or your computer. Because we got a lot of feedback from your TV or computer.
Can you hear me now?
Much better, thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Tony Martin from the tenants organization. So wonderful to meet with you again. How strange this is, but how wonderful. We are proceeding. We're making headway. Thank you so much, council members, and especially Councilman Spiller, who has expressed standing strong on behalf of our rent control ordinance. I hear just like a hawk. I hear every day from people about how important this is. None of that has changed. The vulnerabilities of our diverse population have only been enhanced by this virus that's affecting us all. I'm familiar with that property owners organization. I definitely know of them, and I know that they tend to sweep in at the last minute and try to stop grassroots action. We won't let them do that now, will we? I thank you again. We're all here supporting you, defending your votes for rent control. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Martin.
Thank you.
I believe that's it, Mr. Fan?
Man, there's no more callers.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're now going to move on to our public hearing on the municipal budget. Madam Deputy Clerk?
This is the municipal budget of the Township of Montclair, County of Essex, for the fiscal year 2020.
Councilor Hurlock?
Fiscal budget of the Township of Montclair.
Mute their TV.
Would all folks on the line kindly mute their computers or their TVs so that we don't hear the repetition of the voices of the microphones? Thanks very much.
Councilor Hurlock? Do you have this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor Jackson.
Do you have the adoption procedures and script with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you're number one.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm pulling it up as we speak. If someone has it in front of
Mayor, I
them.
can.
Yeah, Councilor
The conference has been unlocked.
Councilor Spiller?
Thank you. I got you there, Councilman Hurlock. Mayor, I have a resolution.
Thank you,
You bet. Mayor, I have a resolution regarding the reading of the budget by title only.
The deputy clerk will read the resolution.
Whereas NJSA 40A:4-8, as amended, provided that the budget shall be read in full at the public hearing, or that it may be read by title only if, A, at least 1 week prior to the date of hearing, and at the hearing, a complete copy of the approved budget shall be made available for public inspection, and B, is made available to each person requesting the same during said week and during the public hearing. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Township of Montclair that it is hereby declared that the conditions of NJSA 40A:4-8 as amended set forth in subsection 1A and 1B have been met, and therefore the budget for 2020 shall be read by title only.
Councilor Slager?
I don't have the script.
Mayor?
Councilor Spiller? Just
Just so that we're on the same page.
Just, Councilor Spiller, Councilor Spiller can do them.
We don't have the script.
Okay, Councilor Spiller, you can do them all.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I offer the foregoing resolution and move its adoption.
I call for a vote on this resolution. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Councilor Russo?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Schlager?
Yes.
Councilor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. The resolution is adopted by title. I will entertain a motion to open the hearing on the budget.
I move that the budget hearing is open.
Second.
Madam Deputy Clerk?
Mayor, this is the time fixed for the public hearing on the municipal budget and tax resolution for 2020. The budget was introduced by the governing body on February 18th, 2020, and was advertised as required by law on February 27, 2020, together with notice of hearing for this time. A copy of the budget was made available to the public on the financial information page of the Township website during the past week, and a copy is also available at this time online, that page of the Township's website, for anyone desiring to view it.
Thank you. Anyone who has not seen a copy of the budget may view it now on the financial information page of the Township website. Before opening this hearing, I wish to outline the procedure. Each person desiring to be heard will give his or her name on the phone before speaking. I will recognize one speaker at a time in the telephone queue in order as nearly as I can determine. Address all questions to the chair where necessary. They will be referred to the individual members of the governing body or municipal officials. Questions must be confined solely to the municipal budget before us. School or county tax matters are not proper subjects of this hearing and cannot be discussed or answered here tonight. I now declare open the public hearing on the municipal budget and the tax resolution for 2020. Do we have any?
Yeah, at this time, there's no call up for the hearing budget.
The budget.
Public hearing, sorry.
While observing no further callers or no callers, I will entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Mayor, I move that the hearing be closed.
I second the motion.
Second.
Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Baskerville?
Second.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Mayor, I request that the deputy clerk be instructed to read Section 2, the adopting resolution for the budget.
The deputy clerk will read the resolution, please.
Be it resolved by the governing body of the Township of Montclair, County of Essex, that the budget herebefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated in the sum therein set forth as appropriations, and authorization of the amount of $55,433,295 for municipal purposes, $2,628,769.07 for library purposes, $7,869,942.74 for school purposes in Type 1 school district to be raised by taxation.
Thank you. If you're not speaking, please mute your phone. If you're not speaking, thank you.
I offer the foregoing resolution and move its adoption.
I second the motion.
Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Baskerville? Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy
Yes.
Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. The resolution is adopted.
It is hereby certified that the within budget is a true copy of the budget finally adopted by resolution of the governing body on the 24th day of March 2020. It is further certified that each item of revenue and appropriation is set forth in the same amount and by the same title as appeared in the 2020 approved budget by the Director of Local Government Services. Certified by me this 24th day of March 2020.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you, members of the council. And I guess it's worth mentioning again that that incorporates a zero tax increase on the municipal side. We have a pending ordinance for second reading, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, I wish to report that this ordinance has been published and posted, and copies have been made available to the public as required by law. This is an ordinance, calendar year 2020 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
Thank you. Anyone present or anyone on the queue wishing to comment on this, Mr. Fan? Thank you. I will close the public hearing. Any council comments on this ordinance? Roll call, please.
Counselor Baskerville? Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. We have some new business ordinances. Ordinance 02006, salary ordinance for the Superior Officers Association, Local 53A, for the year 2020 through 2027, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Stafford, I
Yes,
just want
Mayor.
to commend you and your team, Mr. Stafford, for the great work
Second.
once again in putting together an agreement that goes through 2027, just as we've all noted here numerous times. Mayor, I know part of your guidance on this, really to have these long-term pieces in place. It's a testament to the relationships we're able to have, but also then the focus we're able to have on what we want to, which is serving the residents. So I thank you and your team. I know it's not easy, and thank obviously the other side as well for coming to the table and really getting this done. So much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Russo, did you have a comment?
I would second what Councilor Spiller said. I was going to say that I'm always telling you that I've never seen in all the years I've served a more effective management of our contracts. And I want to commend the manager and all those who negotiated and congratulate this council on doing 7-year contracts and thank the unions, which I've been always an advocate for agreeing to this for some stability and continuity in our management and finances. This is good for the town, good for the taxpayers, and good for our employees. Thank you.
Excellent. And I know Mr. Stafford wouldn't say it, but it's actually an 8-year contract, Councilor Russo. It's actually 8 years. Roll call.
Even better.
Councilor Baskerville? Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Councilor Russo?
Yes.
Councilor Schlager?
Yes.
Councilor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Ordinance 020-07, ordinance amending salary ordinance 018-035 for the management non-union group for the years 2019 through 2024, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilor
To the
Baskerville?
manager, Mayor.
Yes.
Manager, just a quick question again. These are all the employees that are in a management category, but not in any unions like CWA, OPU, ASHME, right?
That would be correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call?
Councilor Baskerville? Councilor Baskerville?
Yes. Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Councilor Russo?
Yes.
Councilor Schlager?
Yes.
Councilor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. The new business resolutions, R20-050, resolution authorizing introduction and approval of the 2020 year budget for the Montclair Center Special Improvement District, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion?
Mayor, I'll just put into the space that I know that kudos to the work that they've been doing over there for quite some time now, and obviously we know there's been some transition with the leadership at the executive level, but really just some great work by the businesses involved and certainly their leadership over there to really energize and invest in our business community and the business area, and putting on, I think, components that I think all the residents in the town benefit from, whether it be concerts or outdoor performances and things of that nature. So just want to give a big thank you there and know that they are, moving forward with a budget that reflects the needs of the businesses in the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call?
Councilor Baskerville? Councilor Baskerville? Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Councilor Russo?
Yes.
Councilor Schlager?
Yes.
Councilor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Councilor Baskerville?
Councilwoman Baskerville, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got me?
Yes,
Yes.
I got you.
Okay, we have items 1 through 16 for a consent agenda. Does anybody have a reason to remove any of these items from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I will move the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Counselor Baskerville?
Second.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock is yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Moving on to item 17. This is a resolution awarding a contract for Clary Anderson arena roof repairs. And I so move.
Second.
Discussion?
Counselor Baskerville?
Second.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Item 18 is a resolution determining the form and other details of not exceeding $1,950,000 bonds of the Township of Montclair in the County of Essex, New Jersey, and providing for their sale to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank and the State of New Jersey, and further authorizing the execution of various agreements, all pursuant to the state fiscal year 2018 Water Bank Program, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion? No.
Counselor Baskerville? Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Item 19 is a resolution regarding electronic payment transaction fees. I move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Second.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Item 20 is a resolution authorizing a person-to-person transfer of liquor license, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion?
Second.
Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville? Ca-
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Counselor Schlager, you have the bill list?
Yes, I do, Mayor. Thank you. Whereas invoices against the Township of Montclair in favor of the following persons for the amount set opposite their respective names have been received, duly audited, and found correct. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Township of Montclair in the County of Essex that said invoices be, and they are hereby ordered paid, and that checks be drawn by the Finance Department to the order of such persons for the amounts respectively and hereinafter stated on the computer printout attached hereto and made a part hereof. This bill list is dated March 24th, 2020, in the amount of $6,613,366.20, and I so move. Second.
Discussion? Questions? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMahon,
Yes.
Counselor Russo,
Yes.
Counselor Spiller,
Yes.
Counselor Schlager,
Yes.
Mayor Jackson.
Yes. Reports, Mr. Karasik? Mr. Scantlebury?
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Stafford?
I have a few things to say, Mayor. I am sad to have to relay that as of this afternoon at 4 p.m., the Township Health Department reports that the confirmed number of COVID-19 cases in our township is 21, and that number includes 4 individuals who did not survive the illness. It is expected that these numbers will increase significantly as more testing is completed. We must, as a community, do everything that we can to try and control community spread. Please keep your social distance at all times. 6 feet apart from one another is that required distance. Trips from home allowed by Governor Murphy's executive orders must comply with the directives therein. And when in public, individuals must practice social distancing. If you must go out, follow CDC guidelines, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds when you return. For updates from the state, visit the New Jersey COVID-19 Information Hub. That can be found at covid19.nj.gov. This is a one-stop shop for information relative to COVID-19. Also, visit the Township's website and our COVID-19 section for updates on Township operations during this crisis. To receive other Township updates, if you haven't yet signed up for the Township's Swift 911 alert system, you are urged to do so now. The sign-up form can be accessed from our website's homepage. One can also follow the Township's Facebook page, Montclair NJ USA, or the Township Twitter feed at Montclair NJ Gov. Please help your more vulnerable neighbors either by phoning to check in on them or by maintaining this required 6-foot separation, and assist them by delivering groceries or other necessaries to their doorsteps. Support our township's small businesses. Buy gift cards from local shops. Order takeout or delivery from your favorite local restaurants. I also have a few updates on township operations. The May 12 Montclair municipal election will be by mail-in ballot only, as per the governor's executive order. All registered voters, including inactive voters, in other words, those voters whose sample ballots have been returned to the county as undeliverable, will be mailed a vote by mail ballot. In order to allow for enough time for the voters to receive their ballots, vote, and then return the ballot, the Essex County Clerk's Office will mail vote by mail ballots on April 21 of this year. All township public meetings will be conducted remotely, as we are doing right here. Instructions on how the public can participate will be provided on the township website on each public body's page. Our parking utility has waived April 2020 parking fees for current monthly permit holders. All parking meter and permit parking enforcement is suspended through March 31st, and given the CDC's recommendations and Governor Murphy's executive orders, I am certain that that March 31st date will be extended. If you have an overnight street parking permit, you may continue to park on the street, the Crescent parking deck, and the Bay Street parking deck, as well as all municipal lots are available for overnight parking. Bear in mind, please, that illegal parking continues to be enforced. Again, for more information on township operations, please visit the township's website at www.montclairnjusa.org and see the specific COVID-19 section. And for more information on state government operations during this crisis, again, please visit the state's one-stop shop COVID-19 information hub at covid19.nj.gov. covid19.nj.gov. Again, that's covid19.nj.gov. And please note, for the state's website, there is no dash between COVID and 19. The Township thanks Tony's Kitchen, Antica Grill, and the Montclair Bid, as well as the Kiwanis Club of Montclair, for working together to develop a program to deliver free groceries and prepared meals to Montclair's older residents. And lastly, I would like to take this moment to offer a sincere thank you and to express true gratitude to all of our Township public health, public safety, information technology, Department of Community Services, Department of Utilities, and all other Township personnel who have been selflessly working around the clock to keep us safe, connected, and informed. And at the risk of appearing to be patronizing, I will say that I am grateful for our personnel and their efforts. I'm appreciative of their dedication, and I'm proud to be associated with them and a member on their team. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stafford. Well said, and couldn't agree more. Madam Clerk?
This is on a different note. I just wanted to ask that you join in with me to wish Councilor Herlock a happy birthday. Councilor will have cake for you at another time.
Hear, hear.
Cake to be determined.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Council members, Councilor Herlock, was just anything?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stafford, and for your entire team and your leadership to Mayor Jackson and the entire council during these very trying times. There's really not much more to add to what Mr. Stafford has said, obviously. We're all going to hunker down and get through this like we do as Montclairians going forward. In addition, I just wanted to say that the 8th annual First Ward cleanup has been postponed, obviously, given what's transpiring, and hopefully at some point we'll get a new date. And again, hoping that everyone heeds Mr. Stafford's very sage advice and to keep inside and keep distant, and again, we'll persevere and get through this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Slager?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and I send my best to you and to my fellow council colleagues and this evening. I echo obviously what the manager has said, but as a Kiwanis Club member, on this past Saturday was able to deliver meals. I delivered 8 meals and groceries through Tony's Kitchen to some of our neighbors and constituents here in the town. And I have to say, although it was a little unnerving walking around and doing this, the homes that I went to and the deliveries that I made, people were so grateful and so kind. And one woman in particular, she was crying, and it's been a long time since I've experienced anything like that. So the work that Tony's Kitchen has been doing is just incredible. Fire Chief Herman was there on Saturday morning when I went to pick up the food. He was doing a wonderful job coordinating the efforts of the pickups and delivery. So my hat goes off to the chief as well. But like I said, I send you all my good wishes for stay healthy, and not only to all of you, but to our township as well. Thank you.
Councilor Spiller?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start, Mr. Stafford, by commending you and the staff that you already noted. I know that while taking as many safety precautions as possible, we have a great group of employees who are here who are doing what they can to make sure our town continues to function, make sure our town continues to be safe, make sure our garbage continues to be picked up, make sure our water continues to flow through safely and cleanly. Just really great work that's going on that is just so underappreciated all the time, but certainly in a time of crisis, you realize how important those services are. And I do want to commend each and every one of our public employees for the great work that they're doing, and certainly everyone in this building as well. I think it's important to note for all of us as we go through this unknown and unprecedented situation together, it is going to be imperfect. There are going to be mistakes. There are going to be challenges that we all don't have a perfect answer for. but it is the nature, and we will get through this together. I think it's important for us to note, we've stressed so many times, and everyone uses the term social distancing. I think that's appropriate, of course, and we have to make sure we keep our distance. But I think it's important to make that distinction. That's different than being separated from someone emotionally. It's important that we keep our emotional connection to each other. That call, that check-in, as you noted, Mr. Stafford, the conversation via telephone, via video conference, via Skype with a grandparent, or whatever it may be. It's important that we stay connected to each other. We are social human beings. It's important for us to continue that bond during this difficult time more than ever. Certainly as an educator, I know that so many of our educators are doing all they can to keep connected with our students, but we also know that the toll it places on our students is great, and they may not often be able to express it in the way that sometimes adults can, sometimes adults not as much as well, but it's important for us to keep connected with them too, to make sure that we understand that they're in difficult times, they're in unprecedented situations just like we are. It's important that we recognize that and give them comfort as much as we can. As Councilman Schlager noted, and I will just note, having had the opportunity and ability to go to Tony's Kitchen myself, I want everyone to realize that it is considered an essential service to volunteer time. You can go right to their website, Tony's Kitchen, and volunteer and pick a time and pick an activity. I can tell you that when you go there, they are practicing safe distancing. They are setting up outside whenever possible. They are making sure everyone's got gloves on and doing everything that's needed to conduct the work safely, but also make sure that people in need throughout our township are able to get the food that they need in this difficult time. So I commend their work as well. And there's so many great organizations that we have here in town that are doing great work, and lots of people who are looking to volunteer and help in those efforts. So I will just leave with really focusing on the fact that this is something that is scary. It is something that certainly is having a devastating human toll and economic toll. But it is something that we will get through together. We will make sure that we hold each other's hand virtually and emotionally, and make sure that we come through on the other side a stronger community than we even are now. So I thank everyone for their efforts. I thank everyone again, Mr. Stafford here. I thank my colleagues for the work that everyone is doing. I thank everyone in this community, and I say to everyone, stay well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Baskerville? Is she still on? Councilor Baskerville, any comments?
Yes, Mayor Jackson. I also would like to echo my council colleague. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, we can.
I'm speaking. Mayor Jackson, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes. And I also would like to echo my council colleagues, and I would like to first extend a note of gratitude to our managers and to Sue Portuguese in the health department for the outstanding job that they continue to do on a daily basis of keeping us informed as they have additional information. As hard as it is for myself and others to be still and not to have a lot of information to share with people, certainly I believe that with the management that we've had here and with Sue's expertise, we've done a fairly good job of keeping people informed. I've asked the council and managers to allow us as council individuals to, on occasion, make remarks, because I know many of you in the community have reached out to me and said you want to hear from us, that it's very important that you know that we're here, and that on a daily basis you'd like to know the things that we're doing. So some of us will be appearing on TV 37 and basically just echoing and reiterating the information, because we have to have a unified voice whenever we speak. Coronavirus definitely is nonpartisan, and it is going to continue to be around for a while, and we have to come together across parties and make sure that during such times as this, we're able to look after all of our neighbors, and whatever the issues might have been yesterday, most of us are realizing that they're not as important as we thought they were. I'd like to thank the sanitation crew. They come day after day and continue to do their work. I'd like to thank the people in recycling. They're also doing their work.
I'm really proud of the township for being able to continue to do the milling and paving of the streets that were in queue. And so while these are definitely unprecedented times and we're experiencing things that we could never imagine a month ago, we are trying to maintain normalcy wherever we can. I'd like to encourage people to believe the seriousness of this illness. When we say to people, do not go out, please abide by that. Sometimes you can't look at an individual and tell if they have coronavirus. They might not have fever. They might not have a cough. They might not have chest pain. And they can be actively with the illness. So the best thing that we can recommend for now is that you do not go out, and particularly those over the 60-year age group that are most at risk for having serious complications from coronavirus. This afternoon, there was a group of employees at our Hackensack Mountainside UMC Hospital who were in need of food, and I'd like to compliment the group, a grassroots group that spontaneously
Is she still talking and we can't see?
Dr. Baskerville?
we were able to get on, and I'd just like to thank everyone for that. While we're talking about the physical issues that are probably the most important right now because of the effect that they're having on people that have chronic illness, we certainly need to keep in mind the mental and spiritual effects that all of this has on us, and just be a little kinder to one another, show some love, and understand that a lot of people are fearful, and sometimes when people are fearful, they respond in anger or they respond in a way that is not necessarily the most becoming. So let's all do better than we have been doing to try to alleviate people's fears and to just be there and understanding. I know that the Governor Murphy, as far as I know, did not declare that our faith leaders are essential health care workers, but I certainly believe that our health care workers are essential, and during such a time as this, oftentimes just to have someone pray with you is important. So if you are a prayerful person, or if you're a person that chants or in other ways uplifts people spiritually, reach out to your neighbors. You don't know who's there alone and feeling lost and forlorn. But now we need to redouble our efforts to connect with one another. And we will continue to be the great Montclair, the one voice Montclair.
Thank you very much. Councilor Russo?
Thank you very much. Councilor Russo?
Councilor Russo?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Councilor Russo. I just wanted to thank those who are teaching from home, people who are members of the MEA, the AFT teachers at Montclair State University. I'm one of them. We just did our first classes today online. It's very difficult, but it's challenging and rewarding to teach students remotely from home. We're all doing this online now, so the teachers at Montclair schools who are doing it from a remote teaching position, and the teachers at Montclair State, I wanted to give them all a shout out and thank them during this difficult time for doing the continuing work of teaching our students in elementary, high school, and college level. And also all the folks who do public works, refuse collection, recycling. That is a vital function that we cannot have any delay or any diminution of. So we're thanking those folks working on the municipal level, keeping our town clean and safe. And I'm thanking again all the educators from the two unions, MEA and AFT, that do this work in Montclair schools and at Montclair State. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo what everyone said with our thanks to the first responders and in-town employees. They've done a fabulous job. Speaking of first responders, I'd like to remind everybody that the Montclair Ambulance Unit is not supported by tax dollars, and they could really use your help right now. So if you're thinking about giving some money to them, now's a good time. Also, we are a restaurant destination, and all the restaurants are shut down, but many, if not most, are doing takeout. So you can support them by ordering takeout. And speaking of food, God bless Tony's Kitchen. They are doing an unbelievable job, and the associated with the Antica and a couple others that Mr. Stafford mentioned. But they could also use, besides your physical support, your monetary support. They are one of the best things we have in this town, and they do such a wonderful job. And it would be great to support them. Be smart, be careful, be safe, be well.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I want to commend my colleagues for and Mr. Stafford and everybody here for very just pointed statements about what's going on and great advice about how to get through this. I want to particularly echo the work of our health department. Has been outstanding. We were the first town in Essex to have a case, and they have responded heroically to the challenge, and Sue and her team, Peggy and all the others really should be commended for a tremendous job. Also want to commend our county health officer, Maya Lordo, who has done just yeoman's work county-wide in helping to pull together our test site, which is going to open up on Thursday, and also working with all of our health officers throughout the county. And also, too, I would like to commend Governor Murphy, Lieutenant Governor Oliver, County Executive DiVincenzo. I think the leadership that they've shown, and I particularly want to look at the governor. I think he has done a real great job of pulling the state together, of focusing us in on the things that are important. And I think that he's made it abundantly clear that we have to do some things to help save lives, and want to commend his leadership. The other thing I just wanted to mention too is I think that in this hour where we're looking at being, all of us being concerned, if not afraid, one of the things that I noticed when I've been walking the street to get some fresh air and get some exercise is that I think that one of the things I've seen that I haven't, and I walk fairly frequently, the number of people who are out walking at a social distance, safe social distance. But it just occurs to me that when I look at some of the folks, that it occurs to me that this is probably the first time in a long time that some husbands and wives and some partners and mothers with children and fathers with sons and daughters and moms with whomever and their friends. It's probably been a while since they actually went out on a walk and spent some time away from phones and videos and just walking the street, again, at a safe distance, but able to talk to one another. In this experience, I think there is a silver lining in that it has forced us to re-engage ourselves on a real human level that we haven't done for a while, because we're running off to work, we're going off to sports practice or whatever it might be, and there's very little time, precious time, for actual human talking that's not going through some type of electronic means. And I believe that I think some stronger personal relationships will emerge from this, and that we'll actually be better people as a result of this this tragedy. So I do see a silver lining in this whole episode, and I've been very pleased to see that for the most part our citizens are observing the social distancing and making sure that they take care of one another. We've talked a little bit, everybody almost on the council and our staff has talked about Tony's Kitchen. They are doing a remarkable job. I spoke with Ann Mernon the other day, and she mentioned to me that this past week, they spent more on food, on their food budget, than they did the entire year before. So their food budget is spent in 1 week, their annual food budget. So desperately need help, and it shows you the need that's out there. And so they haven't been able to get some of the organizations, some of the stores and so forth who in the past have donated food to Tony's Kitchen, don't have it to donate because it's shelves that we've seen the shelves empty, and so they had to go out and buy food, and that's why they had to spend, I think it was like $20,000 on food, which is generally what they spend annually. So I'm in fact going to ask my council colleagues to consider some additional support for Tony's Kitchen to help to get them through this very tough stretch. And I'm not sure if everyone knows, the pantry had to temporarily close its doors. So Tony's Kitchen now is standing tall and by itself, supporting our seniors and those who really have a need for food and some other basic services. So whatever we can do to support that institution, we need to step up and do it I think as a town and as individuals, be it through dollars or volunteering time. So with that, that's really concluding my comments, but I'm enormously pleased and proud of what the efforts of our staff and also of my colleagues and of our citizens in working through this unbelievable set of circumstances that we are in. So with that, I'm going to ask for, unless there are any other comments, a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good evening,
Aye.
everyone. Stay safe. Thank you.